So there you go.
I've changed a lot since you've seen me last.
Oh my God! You've been eating a lot of my food, or something is happening.
She's eating for two now, right?
Got to come out here and try this. I saw the globs of butter you were putting on.
Oh, it's not globs. It's the perfect amount. Do you want just a bite of?
Yeah, I'll try the chicken.
And Finlandia makes cheese as well. If you want to put some of their cheese on here.
It's crazy. Really, the cleanest. There's no GMOs allowed in Finland. Why that isn't happening here yet, I don't really know. But it really is about local farms, family farms, great butter, amazing cows. The whole cycle comes into fruition in one beautiful little gold package right there.
Where can folks find this?
Vaughn's and Albertsons, right? Vaughn's and Albertsons.
Costco as well has Finlandia products. Just the cheese, okay.
Oh. Just the cheese.
And then for the recipe,
you go to thecookingguy.com, and if you go there, you'll find a couple other ways that you can use this chicken. Just because, that's why you move it off to the side a little bit.
Sam, that's amazing.
Thank you, thank you.
It really is.
Super simple. Look, you could have put garlic in the butter if you wanted, or red pepper flakes, or cumin, or anything you wanted. It's just a blank canvas, but a really delicious blank canvas. I see butter's a forgotten ingredient. You'll buy a great steak, a great piece of fish, and then you buy the cheapest butter you can, and you pair those two. And you wonder why the food is fantastic. It's not what restaurants do. It's not what great chefs do. It's not what we should be doing at home.
Well, I can tell you this is delicious, and I'm going to scarf it down as soon as I do my weather segment, which is coming up right now. Because I was actually really hungry. I told Lindsay, I'm like, can you go to Starbucks and get something for me? And she's like, no, you have to see what Sam's cooking. So.
And by the way, you look wonderful. How much longer?
A couple more months, a little less than 2 months.
Yeah, wow. Feel good?
No, not really.
You don't really?
But the chicken helps.
Yeah.
So I'm definitely going to be eating this, but first we got to get a check on them. You know, I've stopped caring right now.
Let it all hang out.
Oh, it is. All right. Welcome back. Well, September is National Preparedness Month, and are you ready if a disaster hits? Joining us this morning is John Valencia. He's the San Diego City Department of Homeland. No, I knew I was going to mess this up.
The Office of Homeland Security.
Office of Homeland Security. I knew I was going to mess this up because you said it sounds federal. And it's not.
Exactly. We're a city department.
City department. Okay. Well, we're talking about some of the disasters that could strike San Diego, and they're a little different from other parts of California. I mean, we're talking the biggest threats probably being wildfires, flash flooding,
floods every year,
and earthquakes, but maybe not as severe as what we're going to see up through Northern California.
Our modeling indicates that we don't have a catastrophic type earthquake.
If that happens, well, we're talking a little bit about the preparedness kit. What do we have here?
Great. So this is part of National Preparedness.
Clouds this morning all the way out to the foothills of our mountains. We're looking live from Mount Woodson out towards Ramona, where we are cloudy. The clouds at about 1,000 feet this morning. Temperatures today will be cooler thanks to the more extensive marine influence in the 70s and low 80s. We're going to warm a little bit, though, into tomorrow and Saturday, but temperatures will remain below average through the extended forecast. Taking a look at our current visibility, that really hasn't been the issue this morning. Clouds are generally between 1,500 and 2,000 feet. The exception is Ramona, where clouds are down to 1,000 feet. But this picture really shows you where the clouds are sitting right now, all the way out to the foothills of the mountains. Very extensive low cloud coverage this morning. That's going to start to break away in this hour from the foothills. And then we'll see rapid clearing between 8 and 10 o'clock this morning. We'll probably see the clouds stick around just a little bit longer at the immediate coastline. Temperatures today a little cooler than what we saw yesterday, largely in the 70s, a couple low 80s mixed in. We'll get to 80 degrees in El Cajon, 82 in Poway and Escondido, and 83 in Valley Center, but 78 in Fallbrook, 76 in San Marcos, and 79 in Mira Mesa. The mountains will also be in the 70s and 80s this afternoon, 99 out in Borrego and 86 in Campo. Now, if you think this is cool, wait until you see how cool it's going to get in the 7-day forecast. I'll have that coming up in just a few minutes. But first, let's get you caught up on traffic. Palomar Mountain, the low clouds kind of running up the mountain slopes here, and they're going to be really slow to clear. So for our mountain communities today, we are going to see fairly mild conditions. Temperatures getting into the 70s here shortly, and then the 80s for our afternoon highs. Later on this evening around 7 o'clock, it'll be 72 degrees in the mountains. Here's a look at today's highs around the rest of the county. We'll be in the 70s at the coast, hitting 75 in Oceanside and Encinitas. Our inland valleys will be a mix of upper 70s and low 80s, hitting 79 in Mira Mesa, 82 in Lakeside, and 82 also in Escondido. Temperatures will be cooler than what we saw yesterday, dropping 4 degrees in Palomar Mountain and Mira Mesa, down 3 degrees in Escondido and Ramona, and 6 degrees cooler in Campo today. That's going to keep us below average for this time of year, 9 degrees below where we should be in El Cajon, 6 degrees below average in Escondido, and 5 degrees below average in Alpine. And that trend of below average conditions going to stick with us. The computer model pinpointing a slight warm up for the deserts in the coming days. And I don't think we're going to get quite this warm, but we will be warmer. But look at the cool down into early next week. Temperatures dropping back into the 90s for the deserts and the low 70s everywhere else. So the next few extensive. We're looking live in Fallbrook, and you can see it is overcast here. The clouds generally between 1,500 and 2,000 feet. So visibility not really an issue this morning, but these overcast skies are going to help keep us cooler today, as much as 6 degrees cooler than yesterday. Below average temperatures today, and that will continue all the way through the extended forecast. So visibilities right now are really not the problem. The clouds, though, extending all the way out to the foothills of the mountains, are going to keep us on the cooler side, as we mentioned. They're going to be slow to clear. It's already towards 7:30 right now, and you can see that very little clearing will occur by 8 o'clock. But between 8 and 10, that's when we'll see rapid clearing of the clouds back to the coastline. And by 11 o'clock, we should be sunny at the coast. Temperatures right now are largely in the 60s, but we're at 70 degrees in Mira Mesa and 59 out in Alpine. But 67 in Chula Vista, 66 in Encinitas, and 68 in Oceanside. By the afternoon, we're going to reach the 70s for the most part, even the low 80s in a handful of locations. We'll get to 72 in Coronado today, 73 in San Diego, 75 for Chula Vista. We'll be in the upper 70s in Rancho Bernardo and San Marcos, as well as Fallbrook. Low 80s in places like Valley Center, Escondido, and Ramona. We'll also hit 82 degrees in Poway and in Alpine, 80 degrees in Julian. If you think this is cool, you should wait until you see next week's forecast. We'll take a look at the extended coming up here in just a few minutes. But first, let's get you caught up on traffic. It's out in Campo, 99 in Borrego. Those are going to be our warmest locations. But we'll be 82 in Ramona today. Same thing in Escondido, Lakeside, and Alpine, and 83 out in Pine Valley. Temperatures generally cooler than what we saw out there yesterday. 4 degrees cooler in Mira Mesa and Palomar Mountain, down 3 degrees in Escondido and in Ramona, but no change at the immediate coastline. So temperatures still below average for this time of year, 2 degrees below where we should be in Escondido, or rather in Oceanside, but 6 degrees below average in Escondido and 9 degrees below average in El Cajon. And we're going to continue this trend as well. As we move toward the weekend, notice temperatures warming just a touch, but heading into next week, we're going to cool down significantly. So even with this all the way out to the foothills of the mountains this morning, and they're going to be slow to clear. Let's take a look at the fog forecast. As we push towards the 9 o'clock hour, we'll start to see clearing here for some of our inland spots, including the foothills, and then rapid clearing between 10 and 11. Back to the coastline, we'll even see sunshine. Temperatures right now are largely in the 60s, although we're at 71 in Mira Mesa. It's 66 in Fallbrook, same thing in Del Mar, 67 in Chula Vista, and 60 degrees out in Alpine. This afternoon, we're headed for the 70s and a few low 80s. We're going to be at 72 in Coronado today, 73 in San Diego, 74 for National City. Hitting the low 80s, though, in El Cajon, in Poway, in Ramona, and in Valley Center. 78 for Fallbrook this afternoon, 76 in Vista and San Marcos. We'll also be in the 70s and 80s for the mountains and 99 degrees out in Borrego. If you're headed out to see the Padres take on the Rockies this evening, 7:10 start. Mostly cloudy skies, temperatures remaining in the upper 60s throughout the game. Coming up, we're going to see a big cool down in the 7-day forecast. I'll let you know when in just a few minutes. But first, let's get you caught up on traffic. We have a new episode cooler into the afternoon, as much as 6 degrees cooler than yesterday, which is still below average for this time of year. And we're going to stay below average all the way through the extended forecast. Temperatures today largely in the 70s and low 80s. We'll hit 78 in Fallbrook, 79 in Mira Mesa, 76 down in Otay. The low 80s, though, for Poway, Ramona, Lakeside, and Alpine. We'll be in the 70s and 80s in the mountains as well. Temperatures cooling 4 degrees in Palomar Mountain today. Same thing in Mira Mesa, down 3 degrees in Escondido and Ramona, with very little change at the immediate coastline. So we're going to be anywhere from 2 to 9 degrees below average this afternoon. Temperatures away from the coastline, our inland valleys, that's where we're going to see the biggest spread. And it's going to stay that way, especially as we move toward early next week. We'll warm a little bit heading toward the weekend. This is our inland temperature trend. But into next week, temperatures drop off significantly back into the 70s countywide, even the low 70s. By forecast brought to you by the mobile app Close 5, the hassle-free, secure way to buy and sell stuff locally. We're looking live this morning from Palomar Mountain, where the low clouds are starting to peel back. They were all the way up to the foothills of the mountains, in fact, running up the foothills this morning. So we're still overcast close to the coastline with temperatures largely in the 60s. Later this afternoon, we will see sunshine, but it will be cooler than what we saw out there yesterday, largely in the 70s and low 80s, and those low clouds will return turn near the coastline later this evening. Another live look outside here in Fallbrook. You can see it is overcast, but it's a very pretty picture with the sun rays breaking through the clouds here. We're going to see those clouds clear by about 10 o'clock for most locations, maybe 11 o'clock near the coastline. Temperatures right now are largely in the 60s, although we're at 71 in Mira Mesa. It's 67 in Otay, 64 in La Mesa, 66 in Fallbrook, and 69 in San Diego. Temperatures this afternoon will be in the 70s and low 80s. We'll hit 75 in Encinitas and Oceanside, 73 in San Diego, 79 for Mira Mesa, but 82 out in Escondido, Ramona, Lakeside, and Alpine, which is below average for this time of year, as much as 9 degrees below where we should be. We'll see that out in El Cajon. It'll be 6 degrees below average in Escondido, 5 degrees below average in Alpine, and this trend is going to continue in the coming days. For you surfers, we have fair conditions off the San Diego coastline today. A south-southwest swell of 3 to 4 feet hitting high tide around 2:30 this afternoon. And we still have the moderate risk of rip currents. So keep that in mind if you are headed out to the water today. 7-day forecast warming up a little bit as we head toward the weekend, but still below average. And then